I didn't want to watch the whole inauguration speech, so I kind of went to one of my favorite people for the recap, and that is Candace Owens. And Candace is just, again, I've said this multiple times. I don't always agree with everything she says, but I love her show. There's something about her style and the way that she kind of snaps at things. I just love Candace Owens. I'm not, Candace, if you're out there, call me. But anyway, let's watch some of these clips, because I think her coverage of this, she has a couple little asides that are really good. This is actually really interesting. He's kind of talking about this whole circle of tech guys that's surrounding Trump now, and start like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Zuckerberg now. And she brings up some great points about Zuckerberg. And there's an article about how Zuckerberg kind of worked to prevent Trump from becoming president initially. And so let's listen.
I don't know if you guys agree with me, and you can cut back to the feed so they can keep watching what's happening live. I don't know if you guys agree with me about Jeff Bezos, but he's the billionaire that bothers me the least. And I don't know why that is. It's weird. I think because his story just registers more true to me. Like, he was this nerdy techie guy, and then he hit it big with Amazon, made tons of money, and then decided that he wanted to go live out all of his nerd fantasies. And like, he left his wife and didn't even fight her in court. She's like, I want half. It's going to be the biggest divorce settlement ever. He's like, yeah, I have more money than I could possibly spend. Take everything. And didn't fight her, gave her everything, and then goes and dates a blow up doll. I don't know. I just find that to be like an age.
That's why I love Candace Owens. Just that, like, she's like, I think goes and dates a blow-up doll. And if you saw the photos, what's her name? Lauren Sanchez. You'll see footage of her in this, but Bezos's girlfriend, she's hot. She's obviously like plastic surgeryed up, and she's got the girls on full display. There was a picture of Zuckerberg kind of like gawking at them, but how can you blame the guy? Like, she's got him up, she's got him out. She got the girls out.
These relatable story, and he doesn't seem to be over inserting himself. There we have Ivanka Trump walking in right now, by the way. I'm just going to speak through the things that are happening in case people are on audio. Ivanka Trump is walking in, similarly wearing a hat. I'm glad we're bringing back that culture. Behind her is Tiffany Trump, Eric Trump, Donald Trump. So all the children are walking in at this moment at the U.S. Capitol. I am unsure of who is leading them, actually. If you know, Mark, just let me know in my ear.
I promise there's some good shit in here. Hold on a second.
Bringing up the back. But yeah, I think Jeff Bezos, he's been friends for a while now with Ivanka and Jared, and I don't think he overinserts himself. I think he really is just spending the rest of his money and enjoying his life. And I will say, did make somewhat of a sacrifice before this, why it doesn't feel as griftery as Mark Zuckerberg.
So this is a good point that she makes here. And I'm also going to show you, like, she's right on Zuckerberg. She's right to be ultra critical.
Feels to me is because Jeff Bezos notoriously took so much flack for having published that piece. He owns the Washington Post. He never really transformed the Washington Post's beliefs. They were always left leaning. But when ahead of the election, he said, we are not going to endorse a candidate. And he stopped the editorial staff from endorsing Kamala Harris, and then published an op-ed explaining his position about how they're not taken seriously. I took that to be a tremendous, it took a lot of humility for someone of his financial stature to do that, to humble himself and to say.
Also, quick side note, that's when I discovered that Robert fucking Kagan was the editor of the Washington Post. And if you don't know who he is, I've talked about it before, but well-known neocon, the husband of Victoria Nuland.
We look like fools. We need to stop doing this. And this is why nobody believes us. And so I think I gave Jeff Bezos a plus in my book. And so, yeah, it's interesting to see what kind of a message that is signaling to have Mark Zuckerberg be in this very small circle of people. I'm not fond of it, but maybe some people are. I'll be interested to see your guys' comments on that.
So Candace just kind of letting you know how she feels about Mark Zuckerberg being in Trump's orbit. So this next clip is a little bit more of the inauguration parade. But in this one, she kind of talks about who didn't get invited to the inauguration. I'm gonna let Candace give you the tea here. She's gonna share the tea with you.
Also, something that is worth talking about is who was snubbed. Okay, so last night it made the rounds. So the story broke that President Zelensky was begging to be here because, he's so busy. Oh, there he is in his military fatigues with our welfare queen. We got to put a crown on his head, our welfare queen. No one has done welfareism. No one has been more of a welfare rat than President Zelensky. And of course, he wants to be everywhere. Remember, he begged to be invited to the Academy Awards, or was it the Grammys? And he attended one and didn't attend the other. I got, please let me go to the Oscars. I'm obviously facing a very serious war, and you see me wearing military fatigues all the time. Don't you believe me? And so what we are seeing is President Trump is sending a strong message that he's listening to people about.
If I was Trump, this is kind of a weird aside. I was just thinking about Sean Penn. Do you remember Sean Penn giving his Oscar to Zelensky a while back? And Sean Penn is totally grifting off the Ukraine war. He's got some NGO that's making a bunch of money off of it. But if Trump was a boss, what he would do is divert all the Ukraine funding to LA, rebuilding LA, and then put Sean Penn in charge of it or something. Anyway.
How tired we are of being involved in these overseas conflicts by simply ignoring him, just ignoring President Zelensky. And that rumor, by the way, came from Don Trump Jr. He basically said, do we have the tweet from Don Trump? I don't know if it was a tweet or just a message that he sent, but that was trending last night. Yeah, here's Don Trump Jr. on Instagram. He wrote, the funniest part is that he asked for an invite 3 times unofficially, and each time got turned down. Now he's acting like he decided not to go himself. What a weirdo. And he was responding to Newsweek, which published a piece from Zelensky where he said, I can't come to the inauguration, especially during the war, unless President Trump invites me personally.
Yeah, so Zelensky didn't get invited. So again, so far looking like Trump might actually deliver on the stuff that he promised. But let's keep watching. I got a couple more clips from this. The next one is you're gonna love Candace's take on Bill Clinton. Listen to this. Bill Clinton, ladies love Bill Clinton. What are you gonna say?
Clinton is walking in. Oh shoot. I don't want her to see me. Can she see me? Okay, I got to duck. I don't want her to see me. I do not want on that list. And she's with Bill Clinton. And I will say this. There's something still likable about Bill Clinton. I can't hate him. I can't. I don't know what it is. It's because he just seems happy all the time. And we know that their relationship is not real. And it's
because Bill Clinton has je ne sais quoi. He's like, hey, Candace, how you doing, sweetie? Bill Clinton's up in that. Bill Clinton is up in that inauguration oh, there's a lot of good-looking women here.
He's always been nice to everyone in their faces, whereas Hillary has been snipey and has been rude and has been dishonest and has really molded herself into such an unlikable character on the world stage. No one feels that way about Bill. So I'm not going to pretend to hate on Bill Clinton. It's just weird. I don't know. Do you guys feel that? The Bill Clinton effect versus Hillary, where you see...
I love it. Because Candace Owens is she's very religious conservative. So the fact that she's admitting that she likes Bill Clinton is pretty huge. And again, I think it's just because Bill Clinton is a ladies' man. Ladies love Bill.
Here and you're like, and he's just as involved. But you're still kind of nah, okay, whatever. It's Bill Clinton. So they have just walked in. So I was not expecting that. I would imagine then what is going to happen now is Obama is probably going to walk in pretty soon. Oh, nope. First, we've got the Bushes. Again, Karen Pence not being there is quite strange. But we do have...
So there's a whole interesting little aside in this that, I don't really need to cover much more of this one. We can move on to the next clip, but move on. So there's a couple things that Trump says here that really stuck out to me. This is kind of the first part of it. So we'll just listen to it and we'll talk about it.
Government confronts a crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair.
So this is okay, I have to say, this inauguration speech is the the speech I always hoped Trump would give, because this is the argument that I've had with him the whole time. Is it's like, I don't totally dislike the guy. I don't totally like the guy, but it's like he could so easily bring people together by just saying a couple choice words. You know what I mean? And I think in this speech, he actually did it. And what I thought was really funny is I got a text from my family members, you know, when it was happening. And I remember my cousin's like, holy shit, I'm watching this Trump inauguration speech. And so then I went and looked, and I get the email from the New York Times, and the New York Times headline says something like, Trump paints a grim picture of America in his inauguration speech. And it's like, yeah, compared to the picture that you guys have been painting, which isn't the real picture, you know. And I like some of the people that I run with, they're financially doing okay. So like, they're not bad people, you know, but they just invested. And so they haven't felt the pain of the Biden era. They really haven't. So to them, it was like such a shock that Biden lost. They're just like, wow, I can't believe the country's racist, you know? And it's mind blowing to me. But, you know, I think the Bernie people and anyone who's just like, we just want something different is happy to hear this. So let me let him finish, because no lies told. I mean, like, let me start this over, because honestly, this is absolutely fucking perfect what he says. Right
today, our government confronts a crisis of trust.
Yes.
For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens. Well,
if you remember, Bernie Sanders was running against the establishment, wasn't he? Until they fucking stomped.
All the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad. It fails to.
Like, it sounds like something Ron Paul would say. Like, that is just like, this is the kind of thing. And again, it's like, you would never hear that from a fucking Ted Cruz or one of these establishment, Mitt Romney, the establishment Republican or the establishment Democrat. But that is the reality that most people have been living with probably since Kennedy.
Protect our magnificent law-abiding American citizens, but provide sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally.
So this is the part I think is a little bit extreme, but like it's like, again, the argument I have with people is, you know, people are like, oh, well, dude, if you fucking get rid of the immigrants, like, the economy is just going to fall apart. It's like, yeah, if you listen to the fucking people that are taking advantage of immigrants for cheap labor, of course they're going to say that. They don't want to have to fucking pay people a living wage. And it's like, who knows? Like, at the end of the day, I don't claim to be an expert. I don't claim to be an economist. What I do claim to know is that, like, everyone we've elected in the past to do something has fucking done nothing. So some kind of change, even if it's just like fucking break the whole system and retool it, is going to be good. Because, you know, so anyway, sorry to get sidetracked on that, but I just hate this. People buy this, like, fucking, the scaremongering right now is that, like, oh, the tariffs are going to be a price increase or whatever. No, he's got other levers to pull to make up for that shit. Like, he's talking about the External Revenue Service here, where they're going to have like a fucking agency that goes and gets the fucking tariffs, like collects on the money that these other countries owe for importing us. Like we really have kind of just been like the sloppy, like little sloppy whore of the world for the last like 50 years. It's like, oh, they'll come and fuck us up. You know, it's like, no, like, let's tighten it up a little bit. What's wrong with that? You know, and we can always adjust back in the other direction once things are better. You know, it's like, the reality is the world is a different place than it was 100 years ago. You know, when we were like, bring us your tired and your poor and all that shit. Like we wanted that then. Yeah, it's a different dynamic now. Like, we got a lot of people. And I played this clip of Tim Dillon and Rogan talking about this in my last broadcast. But the reality is, we need to be able to provide healthcare for our country. We need these services. And I think even the GOP realizes this now. But for us to do that, we have to have, you know, an actual country. We have to have like borders, and we have to have like a verified citizenry, because we can't just fucking give it away to everybody. By the same token, you know, it's a different dynamic when you go to, if you're an American and you go to Canada or you go to the UK, like they don't just turn you away from their healthcare system. Then you're not a taxpayer there. So we can have a system that accommodates people like that. But the point I'm making again is just that, like, we have been the sloppy bitches of the world for the last 50 years, and a tightening is long overdue. So let's keep listening to Trump here.
Entered our country from all over the world. We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders, or more importantly, its own people.
Yep.
Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly. And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. Or more recently, Los Angeles, where we're watching fires still tragically burn from weeks ago without even a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer.
Don't taste me, bro!
But we can't let this happen. Everyone is unable to do anything about it. That's going to change. We have a public health system that does not deliver in times of disaster, yet more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world.
Yep.
And we have an education system that teaches our children to be ashamed of themselves in many cases, to hate our country despite the love that we try so desperately to provide to them.
So again, this is the part where the conservatives get a little granny on me, where it's like, oh, they're teaching kids to hate America. No, they're not. They're teaching kids the reality of that America is not perfect. Like, and we fucking, but you know, there is also, I do think there is some truth to the idea that, like, the general consensus is to just frame us as the ultimate world's evil. When, let's be honest, for the last 20 years, it gotta have been, but it's not the people. It's not like we haven't tried to vote against it, and that's kind of what this reckoning entails a little bit. Like, we had our elected officials never did anything that the voters wanted, and that's a dynamic that has to change. And hopefully, it has changed a little bit now, despite everything they did to try to keep this guy out, you know, and he gets into that anyway. Let's keep
all of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly.
Let's go.
My recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal and all of these many betrayals that have taken place, and to give the people back their faith, their wealth, their democracy, and indeed their freedom. From this moment on, America's decline is over.
Yes. Let's go. Call him out by name, Trump.
Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Over the past 8 years, I have been tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history.
That is true.
And I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life.
Yep.
Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
Amen. And we still don't know anything about the shooter, by the way. They tried to kill this man twice. Twice, okay? Just got chills thinking about that. And he's standing on this stage right now, despite all of those odds. On the golf course in Pennsylvania. Look at Melania. She's looking at, she don't trust nobody. She's just giving the side eye to Hillary Clinton.
Thank you very much.
Even Keith Olbermann.
I heart Donald Trump.
I don't trust anybody in that room but Melania Trump.
Keith Olbermann.
I heart Donald Trump.
Keith, what else do you heart?
I heart feces.
Those are my Keith Olbermann sound drops.
I heart porn star dick.
Keith Olbermann, what else do you
I
heart?
heart porn star dick.
All right. We got one more clip here of Candace and Trump. And this one, I think, again, this is one of the ones that, this is one of those things where I was like, this is the thing Trump needed to say. You know, he never really panders like this. And the thing is, it's because he's not a panderer. He's honest. He as much as rambly and kind of incoherent as he can sound sometimes. I do think for the most part, he just says, he speaks off the cuff. And so listen to this. This is actually really good. One of the high points, I think, of his speech.
Greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country. As our victory showed, the entire nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases in support from virtually every element of our society, young and old, men and women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, urban, suburban, rural.
Yo, we
And very
here now.
importantly, we had a
Stupid.
powerful win in all 7 swing states. And the popular vote, we won by millions of people. To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and his honor, this will be a great honor, but in his honor we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true.
His dream was that people would be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Let's listen to that again. That's great.
We'll strive to be a great honor in the years to come. And you have shown me with your. To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and his honor, this will be a great honor, but in his honor we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true.
Also tell us who shot him. This would have been a great day to release the MLK files. We know who shot him, but, just as a formality, tell us who shot him.
Or tell us who shot him. Tell us who shot MLK, Trump.